Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. There's major speculation brewing. Which nation state has bought 59,000 Bitcoin? We have a $2.3 million price prediction to get through today. The world, there's a gigantic problem with this one particular senator who continues to gaslight the rest of the world regarding Bitcoin. This one was pretty interesting. We're going to dive into it. Bitcoin core devs, they got a subpoena from the FBI. Nigeria, Bitcoin holders, they are exploding while tighter restrictions on buying Bitcoin are happening. For the Australians out there, g'day, Australia has lost 93% the AUD in the last 5 years. This is the Bitcoin news with the fast facts. Max Kaiser has been saying Qatar for a long time. Still speculation, Vivek here. The undisclosed nation state just bought another 100 Bitcoin. They now own 59,000 Bitcoin. This was 2 days ago. They added 106 Bitcoin. They've basically been buying 100 Bitcoin every day or every other day. Max Kaiser for a very long time has been very consistent saying this is Qatar. So strap on, get ready. If you are selling, these people are buying, make the most of it. We don't know who it is. What we do know is there is a perpetual bid for Bitcoin. So hold on tight. Real quick, we'll dive into the senator gaslighting everyone. But green button today. It's going to flick between red and green a lot today. If you have epilepsy, don't watch it. Just smash the buy button, make the most of it. But let's dive into, you guessed it, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Shout out to everyone that is watching live, watching the replay. If you can smash the like button, if you dislike Senator Elizabeth Warren as much as me for the lies, the misinformation, the propaganda that is spilled.
Hamas has access to money or some form of financing for themselves.
They are increasingly, in my view, turning to alternative means of financing, given what we've done in terms of their ability to do the traditional financial system.
So what does it mean, alternative means of financing?
One of those is cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency is a means that while we're using every tool we have, we need additional tools to go after.
Okay, and it's not just Hamas and terrorists that are using crypto financing. Hamas.
Crazy, hey? It just continues to go. The reason why I have a problem, we know that it's lies, misinformation, programming, propaganda. The reason why it's so sinister is all the sheeple, the people that are still asleep, that they're not paying attention to what Bitcoin actually is. They're trusting, they're not verifying. They believe the first thing they hear, and that's why they continue to keep doing this to mislead everyone. And I have a feeling Senator Elizabeth Warren is probably buying Bitcoin herself, which is such a shame this is happening. Obviously, CPI came in hotter than expected yesterday. CJ, who we've had on the show before, had a really good take on this. The higher interest rates go, the higher inflation will go. Where they say they're jacking interest rates to cut down on inflation, the reason why that's not happening, that's because the higher interest rates go, the larger the deficit. The larger the deficit, the faster the currency printing go. The faster the currency printing go, the faster inflation rises. So we're in a debt spiral. The higher interest rates go, the higher costs go for businesses. The higher interest rates go, the more people can spend yield based on the exponentially rising cost of finance, government's massive deficit budget, the increasing cost structure for businesses, the increased amount of yield that can be spent into the economy. I don't think we are correctly fighting inflation. The results will be devastating. Best message, biggest takeaway, opt out of clown world with Bitcoin. I think that's a pretty pertinent message right now. Regardless of, we'll get into the AUD towards the end of the show, and I'll show you why you want to be able to save in Bitcoin, whether it's $5, $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million, $10 million, $1 billion. Bitcoin is the greatest savings vehicle for anyone on the planet. No government, institution, corporation, entity can get in the way, can prevent you accumulating your Bitcoin, holding onto it. They do try. China's banned it so many times. They continue to lose. Nigeria, we're going to dive into them as well. Before we do, Gabor, the truth is the Fed cannot afford to cut rates because actual inflation is high. But it cannot afford not to cut rates because debt servicing costs are too high and lots of debts did and will be reissued at higher rates. It's a rock and a hard place, I warned. So this back in March 12th, 2023. The biggest punch in the face is yet to come, and it's hiding in plain sight. Over half the US federal debt, 16 trillion out of 31 trillion. What's it sitting at now? 34 trillion, adding $1 trillion of debt every 100 days. We are in a debt spiral. It's happening right in front of our eyes. Bitcoin's only 15 years old. You're still early. We'll dive into the numbers shortly. But this matures in the next 3 years. Higher rate debt to replace low rate debt or inflation runs no win. Opt out, stack sats, buy, stack, and chill is the way. As well as this undisclosed nation buying whoever that is, Mr. 100 a day until 100K, or maybe they keep buying indefinitely, that perpetual bid. The US Bitcoin spot ETF trading volume has surpassed $200 billion within just 3 months. So Asia is next. Yesterday we covered Asia and China being a proxy for Hong Kong, how they are pushing it through to get approval on the 15th of April. 3 days away, 4 days away, depending on the time zone differential there. Absolutely insane. Everyone's starting to wake up to number go up. We're going to dive into how to actually take control and benefit from not just the number go up, but what Bitcoin does for humanity. Before we do, real quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Amped, Joey, Gaz, everyone watching live or watching the replay, say g'day in the comments or the live chat. We'll get into a bit of a banter at the end. If you've got any questions, drop them below or on the sidebar if it's there with the queue in front of it. Otherwise, we'll just have a little bit of fun. But BlackRock, head of active ETFs, says a whole group of investors are now thinking about Bitcoin for the first time because of the spot Bitcoin ETFs. 51 seconds. Let's rock and roll and see what BlackRock's head of active ETF has to say.
It goes back to investor interest, that investors have been saying for years that we want an ETF that is providing exposure to Bitcoin. They liked the asset, but they wanted a better vehicle to get exposure to it. And just like it's incredibly easy to get exposure to 500 stocks in the S&P 500 through IVV or to get bond exposure through AG, people want that type of easy vehicle for Bitcoin. So this is a huge step forward for investors getting that easy access. But also a lot of investors for the first time can now consider Bitcoin. It just wasn't available to a lot of investors who could only buy things that are traded on exchanges like ETFs. And so now you see a whole group of investors who are thinking about this asset for the first time.
You're also seeing 70 different mutual funds saying, you know what? I would like to switch to an ETF, because an ETF is like a mutual fund, only it trades like a stock. You can move it as many times as you want during the day. So give me...
It goes back to investor.
Pretty incredible here. And what I would say to that, even though Wall Street is saying that it's mainly retail buying, retail's not here yet, ladies and gentlemen. You front run them if you've been here for a while. You front run BlackRock, Wall Street. For everyone here right now that's buying, that's stacking, that's chilling, you front run China, Hong Kong, Asia. Bitcoin is continuing to go up and to the right forever. Whether it's the green or whether it's the red button, just hit and smash that buy button. Make the most of this opportunity. Bitcoin, as inflation happens more and more, they continue to debase the currencies around the world. Bitcoin is that life raft. It is the money. Just get as much of it out of the 21 million as you possibly can. Make sure you have food, shelter, roof over your head, clothing. Aside from that, be a psychopath if you can. Just do what you can to get as much as you can. It's not stopping. It's not going away. They try. China's tried so many times. Nigeria has been trying. They're failing. They're blaming Bitcoin's historic rise and the fall of the Naira on Bitcoin. It's always Bitcoin's fault. And no, everything's failing. Bitcoin's the solution to all your problems, whether on an individual level, a corporation level, a nation state level. Bitcoin does fix nearly everything. And that's what Nigeria is finding out. So as Bitcoin surges, Nigerians are facing harsh FX-related interventions. It's a little bit sad, but really cool and fills me with hope that you can't stop Bitcoin. Try shut it down like they did in China. I don't know how many times they banned it, 9, maybe more. And China still has a huge amount of the Bitcoin networks mining hash power. As well as that, so many Chinese individuals hold Bitcoin. When I was in Sydney, I was talking to a gentleman, a taxi driver from China. He's got a lot of family back there. He holds Bitcoin here. His family owns Bitcoin over there as well. So they can ban it as much as they like, but they're just banning themselves from it. So as the first quarter of 2024 began, Nigerians were cautiously optimistic about the outlook for the year following the reversal of the Bitcoin ban in December 2023 and the change in stance of regulators towards Bitcoin and other digital assets. However, against the backdrop of the Bitcoin price rally and ETF hype, events since late Feb have taken a drastic turn. A little bit of a background. The now reversed Bitcoin ban to 21 arguably stated a snowball effect started. A snowball effect is banning banks from directly tying crypto payments pushed Nigerians to peer-to-peer, P2P, peer-to-peer platforms to access Bitcoin and other digital currencies. In hindsight, this move, coupled with the Naira's tumultuous track record over the last few years, contributed to Nigeria becoming one of the largest global P2P markets for Bitcoin. Let's go, Nigeria. Well done. The power of Bitcoin, hey? Can't stop an idea whose time has come. Despite the reversal and push for more clarity on Bitcoin regulation, the dominance and effect of P2P flows have affected the Naira's FX rate by effectively establishing a parallel de facto FX rate that remains much higher than the official rate. Yeah, blame it all on Bitcoin. It is that flight to safety. People are waking up. So following the Naira's 70% depreciation, the central bank in Nigeria decided to free float the US dollar peg in June 2023. Earlier this year, the Nigerian government devalued the Naira for the second time in 8 months to unify its official and unofficial exchange rates. The aim was to address the chaotic FX situation, foreign exchange rate situation, and attract foreign investors, investments. Why would anyone around the world do that? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. If your currency is failing, all currencies around the world, everywhere, failing. It's just math. It's just fact. Some more than others. Australia will dive into that as well. Has lost a lot of purchasing power against the USD and against Bitcoin in the last 3-5 years this year alone. But the Naira, why would anyone foreign, if they're looking to store money in a place, they want to have a little bit of certainty. Now that certainty is Bitcoin. The Nigerians are waking up. The world's waking up. It's just the governments. They just don't get it. In late February, access to popular crypto exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, and Noons were shut down in Nigeria, and it is still in effect as of this writing. Nevertheless, though, this may have initially reduced traffic and activity to these sites, but known circumventive measures ultimately make it ineffective in the long term. If people are struggling, they're looking for an escape hatch, they see the life raft floating right there. Nothing's going to get in their way at all. If people are hungry, they are going to fight for what they know. Their basic human right is to have some money that cannot be debased, that cannot be controlled by some sick entity, whether that's a government, nation, corporation. Bitcoin, it's that hope. It's that freedom technology. So following the delisting and detainment of Binance executives, the Nigerian government demanded that Binance pay $10 billion. Thought that was pretty funny. And keep that in mind. The Nigerian government demanded that Binance pay $10 billion. Nonetheless, Binance's exit will prompt other P2P services in Nigeria to step in and meet Nigerians' growing demand for Bitcoin and stablecoins. While many things are in flux, it's safe to say that Bitcoin's not going anywhere because you cannot stop it. You cannot shut it down. Bitcoin and stablecoin speculation make stablecoin speculation. You are speculating because you don't know if they're pegged or they'll become unpegged. Bitcoin, yeah, you're speculating to the upside. With Bitcoin, we keep getting scammed to the upside. Like, it's green today. Smash it, it'll be red. I don't know. Maybe right now, maybe not. Just make the most of it. But we keep getting scammed to the upside. Stable coins are relatively stable. They're losing purchasing power, and some of them will depeg. So, yeah, stablecoin speculation, I guess, and yes, you get scammed to the upside with Bitcoin. This may continue to impact the Naira's FX future, but it is an overstatement to single them out as the sole factor in the Naira's FX currency. Biggest problem there, government. Just take the government out of the way, or have a responsible government. Do those words responsible and government go together? I have not seen it yet. Let us know where you are in the world and if that is happening for you. Fred gets a lot of pushback, but this is a really, really good take gold price action and hold on to that $10 billion threat that the Nigerian government is trying to con out of a crypto exchange. Watch treasury auctions. Hot inflation numbers mean one thing: secure your wealth with Bitcoin immediately. Don't wait. Holding a $10 billion ransom, just any way that they can proliferate, is that the right word? Maybe not. To be able to steal your funds, to be able to top up their treasury, they'll go after it with any way possible, especially if they're rapidly failing as an economy. $10 billion, yeah, that's an easy target. Let's take it. That's another good reason why you never want to leave your Bitcoin on an exchange. If you hold Bitcoin on an exchange, yes, you get the number go up. Absolutely fantastic. That's great until we see the likes of BlockFi, FTX, Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, and the list goes on and on and on, and they fail. Mt. Gox is the first one to go down, and everyone loses their coin. So you actually need to secure your Bitcoin, hold in self-custody. Put your seed on seal minimum, titanium, platinum, whatever it is. Please hold it in self-custody. If you need a little bit of help, a little bit of hand-holding, the sponsors of this show is the Bitcoin Way. This team, they're absolutely incredible. They've helped me out personally in my journey. I thought I was doing really well. I had 3 seed plates, 3 different countries. I'm like, great. Something bad happened or the world shut down. Can't access it. If I lost my signing device. Now, thankfully, that never happened. What I have now is so awesome. They've got 25 years cybersecurity experience, safety and a moose, the GOAT. The Bitcoin Way is a service I've always wanted. They can help you set up an air-gapped wallet. If you're with Trezor or if you're with Ledger, they are crap, to say it nicely. Both of them have leaked user data. Not really a good place to be able to start with it. Ledger is closed source. Trezor is open source. We'll give them credit there. Neither of them are Bitcoin-only devices, maybe Bitcoin-only firmware with it. But regardless of that, you're plugging these devices into your device or you're using Bluetooth with it. You need to stop that. It has to be air-gapped. That's the way. You never want any device that holds your keys to touch the internet, your computer, in whatever way, ever. Like, number one, please don't do that. It's not good. Maybe the possibility of it happening at 0.01%. This is generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. You're working so hard, you're buying your stack and you're chilling. Please don't let this opportunity slip. They can help you set up a Bitcoin node, learn how to verify your Bitcoin transactions. They can just really lock down your computer, make sure you're following best practices, stop your wallets leaking your data, stop exchanges from accessing your Bitcoin. The first 30 minutes is free. There's a link at the top of the description. Just reach out, call them. Hey, I've got a problem with this. Do I need to do anything? No, you're good. You're doing the right thing. No drama. Oh yeah, that's a major problem. This is what we would do. And then work with them. It's your money, it's your choice, but don't lose it. Whatever way you can secure it, whether it's the Bitcoin way or you put in 100 hours, 1,000 hours, please secure it. I think it's important for humanity. Like I truly believe we really need to do it. Check out those numbers if we get the block clock to load. 838,822 block height. The exchange rate, 70,912. In the background there, we've got 71,037. So, I don't know, 70,900, 71,000, close enough. TikTok, next block, ladies and gentlemen. We've only got 1,178 to go to the halving. It is still estimated at the moment, at least here in Australia, 5:58 p.m., April 20th, 2024, 4:20. It is the meme day. Sats per USD. It's going down, but it's a bloody good deal. 1,410 Satoshis per Bitcoin. For every 10,000, for every $10, you get 14,100 Satoshis. That's amazing. For $10, over 14,000 Satoshis. Make that deal. If it's just $10, hit the buy button. Make the most of it. Your future self and your future's future is going to thank you. What do you want to be? That old grandma, grandpa being like, oh yeah, I knew about Bitcoin. And I had an extra $10 that I didn't need, but I didn't feel like buying it. Well, I should have. Who knows where this is going? Up and to the right, forever. It is everything divided by 21 million. Not even hopium. It's just math. It's just a matter of time. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, Cathie Wood, Bitcoin, $2.3 million per Bitcoin. Massive price prediction. Cathie Wood came out and she's always been pretty bullish. Robert Kiyosaki's pretty bullish. I'm always eternally bullish. Price predictions myself, don't know, I don't care. To bring him up though, it's pretty interesting. We had Mark Yusko, he was talking about $150,000. Bitcoin, was it Stan Druckenmiller? Maybe somebody else, maybe Anthony Scaramucci, 170,000. Cathie Wood, 2.3 million. The point is Bitcoin at $71,050 is incredibly cheap. So buy, stack, and chill. Make the most of it. But say 2.3 million per BTC. Do I believe her? Yes, I do. Cathie Wood is very smart. I trust her opinion. Could she be wrong? Yes, she could be. So what? The more important question is, what do you believe? What if Cathie is right? What if Cathie is wrong? And most importantly, how many Bitcoin do you own? How many Bitcoin do you own? Don't tell me in the description, but think about it. Have you bought enough? If Cathie is right, I will wish I'd bought more. If she is wrong, I'll be glad to own zero. Most people will own zero regardless of if Cathie is right or wrong. School, the only place on earth where smart people are people who never make mistakes, not the real world. In the real world, how funny those words. The richest and happiest people are people who make mistakes and learn from their mistakes. God bless Cathie Wood for her courage to make mistakes and learn from her mistakes. I too believe Bitcoin will reach $2.3 million. When? Who knows? Up, down, sideways until then, but you are going to get scammed to the upside. Just take that into account. Take care. I suggest live dangerously if you can afford you can't see it so well. 0.01 Bitcoin, regardless of if Cathie is right or wrong, you'll be better educated, smarter, wiser when it comes to Bitcoin. School is the only place on earth where smart people are people. Buy, stack, and chill. What number? Let us know in the comments there, the live comments or in the replay, where you think Bitcoin's going to this cycle and in the year 2032. I'd love to hear both. And if you can smash that like, greatly appreciated. Now, this is crazy, like actually absolutely insane. Richard Whitman, WTF, actual WTF. So notice regarding the Atlanta 2022 Core Dev event, Mike Schmidt to Mike Schmidt, all as part of the investigation into Luke Deshar's announcement theft of his Bitcoins, I received a subpoena from the FBI wanting information about attendees of the October 2022 Core Dev Atlanta event in the days before TAB Conference 2022. I was legally advised to cooperate. There was also an order from the FBI not to disclose a subpoena for a period of 1 year, which just expired. Some of you were invited to the event and attended all of the days. Some of you stopped by for some period of time as guests. The original subpoena requested much information, but after pushback, the FBI agent agreed to the following subset of information about you, which I provided. Your GitHub username, your first name, your last name, your email address, which was the one he's emailed there. I do not have any details about the investigation or whether the subpoena was due to a targeted suspect or general information gathering as part of the investigation. I apologize for this breach of your private information. Please email me if you have any questions. Does that not make you feel a little bit ill? A core Bitcoin dev event, and the FBI now has their first name, their last name, their email address. That's absolutely crazy. That's why you need to take your Bitcoin into self-custody, protect it. Your identities, they're pretty easy to get, but your Bitcoin, you can lock it down. You can make it impossible for anyone to ever touch. Please do the right thing. Being here is the first step to your financial freedom in whatever way. True wealth is not about getting rich. True wealth is about having time, freedom, the choice to be able to do what you want whenever you want with whomever you want. To be able to go to meetings like this, And maybe the FBI is going to be there. Maybe the FBI is already looking into you. So secure that Bitcoin as much as you possibly can. But crazy, absolutely insane, absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't already and you are watching, super easy. Just smash the like button. Usually it's under the video or to the side. It's the thumbs up or the love heart. If you are watching on X there, it means a lot and it gets the Bitcoin signal out. We go live 5 days a week, 5:35 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Aside from today, it is 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Things happen, things come up. Bitcoin allows you to do what you want when you want, and I want to show up and give you the news with the fast facts. So, Marty Bent, TFTC reporter, data shows that inflation rose more than expected for the third straight month. Biden, I do stand by my prediction that before the year is out, there will be a rate cut. We have dramatically reduced inflation. Pretty funny. You need to have a little bit of a sense of humor being here because it's the world economy that's at stake and it is clown world totally. It's nice being in the parallel economy, Bitcoin, so it doesn't really affect us, but just to listen to the nonsense that they make up, I'll hand it over to President Joe Biden. Much respect.
Last month, you predicted the Federal Reserve would cut interest rates thanks to falling inflation. But today, data showed that inflation rose more than expected for the third straight month. So how concerned are you about the fight against inflation stalling, and do you stand by your prediction for a rate cut?
Well, I do stand by my prediction that before the year is out, there'll be a rate cut. This may delay it a month or so. I'm not sure of that. We don't know what the Fed is going to do for certain. But look, we have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office, where inflation was skyrocketing. And we have a plan to deal with it, whereas my opposition talks about two things. They just want to cut taxes for the wealthy and raise taxes on other people. And so I think they have no plan. Our plan is one I think is still sustainable.
I'm sure you do. Any politician, left, right, in the middle, they're just following their puppet masters. The puppet masters are going to do what they want to do. I don't know. I just see them all as a puppet. Maybe that's conspiracy tinfoil hat. That's just my belief. That's not a fact at all. But you can opt out. They're going to manipulate the currencies in whatever way. Tax rates, get rid of all of them. Why tax us when they can print as much money as possible? If they stop printing money and they had their finances in check, I'm all good for paying taxes. I choose where I live. I understand sort of the tax laws. I understand that I pay a lot in taxes. But for the services to the utilities, when they don't print money and debase it, happily put towards that. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to opt out. And here in Australia, at least, I don't know what it's like anywhere else in the world. If you don't sell your Bitcoin, you don't pay taxes. So if you're selling your Bitcoin, you deserve to pay your taxes because you should be incentivized to save your Bitcoin. Of course, it just makes sense. Bitcoin's the money. It's the only money that exists, and it's the greatest form of money to ever exist in all of human history. And it's 15 years old. Well done for being here, for thinking a little bit different, for reading the books and not having to eat the bugs. If you haven't already, Beers for Bitcoin, Bitcoin Evangelism. If you've read 4 or 5 Bitcoin books, Crypto Sovereignty, you're ready for it. It's insane. It'll take you down the rabbit hole in so many ways. Enjoy it. It's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. The video with Eric Kaysen is still with the editor, but got to sit down with him in person. So a good reason to subscribe if we vibe. If you haven't already, that will be dropping when I get it back from the editor. I'm not going to give a time frame. I don't know anymore. It's happening. Asia's waking up. So Bitcoin-friendly South Korean opposition party has won the election. They are committed to allowing domestic investors to buy the Bitcoin ETFs. That's one nation state that's coming. Bitcoin Archive. Asia is coming to the Bitcoin party because it is a party. It's a party of hope, of freedom, of joy. It allows you to see the good that is in the world, and the world is inherently good. But when we live inside that fiat matrix, Feels like a dystopian, nihilistic panopticon nightmare. Yeah, they're just some big words that are strung together. Whether that makes sense or not, ladies and gentlemen, you tell me in the comments. Hong Kong is approving a Bitcoin ETF. South Korea will approve a Bitcoin ETF. Chinese fund managers are launching Bitcoin ETFs through the proxy of Hong Kong. US Bitcoin ETFs push the price from $38,000 to $73,000. This bull market is just getting started. The last point, the bull market is just getting started. You're still early. We're going to dive into the numbers and I'll show you the reason why you're so early. There's more upside in front of us than behind us. You just need to zoom out a little bit. It's so exciting. Like you're walking down the street and there's all these normal people about and they're like walking around, head down, and you're just like, do you not get it? Like, how good is life? But people don't have that hope that we have found. That's why it's so important to just send the Bitcoin signal out there, make the most of it. So if you can hit the like button, that helps me send the signal. And share this video with someone. Share one of the interviews with someone. Just share Bitcoin with someone. It's so important. It frees humanity. Talking about freeing humanity, the US is considering dropping the prosecution of Julian Assange following a request from the Australian government. Good. It's about time. Hurry up. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in February backed a motion calling for Mr. Assange return to his native Australia. Let's see. It's not done until it's done. In the words of Michael Dunworth, it's another epic interview. I was editing that yesterday. Wow. Coming out. But free Assange, absolutely. And Edward Snowden. Edward Snowden chimed in on that as well. So important. We want to see it. I haven't covered this all week. Odell, who is a Bitcoin OG, absolute legend in the space, put out some information that hasn't been substantiated, hasn't been verified maybe, haven't found the facts. Jack Dorsey was saying, you know, jumping in and chiming in there as well. But basically, Saylor was telling Wall Street not to fund devs with that. Saylor hasn't come out, not that I can find anything. Bitcoin's hope, it's freedom. I don't really care about the politics, and I didn't want to bring it up until there's a level, either facts or a level-headed take on the situation. Now, Samson Mow is calling for an Omega candle, a $100,000 candle in a day, reckons Bitcoin's going up and to the right forever, but at a faster pace than everyone. And some people may not think that's a level-headed person. Samson Mow is the CEO of Jan3. He works with nation states, orange pilling nation states. His take on this is the best level-headed take I have seen. And if you're curious and you're wondering why I hadn't brought it up before, I don't want to start FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I want people just to understand you buy, you stack, and you chill. Hold the hardest asset. Get as much of the hardest asset as you possibly can. Thank yourself now. Thank yourself in the future because you're doing the right thing. But this is a good take. And I thought it would be fair to bring it up because it is happening. It is affecting the Bitcoin community. And I'll give you my thoughts afterwards. Firstly, my thoughts are, it's just noise. The only thing you need to do is buy, stack, and chill. And I like both people and for different reasons, and both people and everyone contributes to Bitcoin in different ways. Samson Mow, there are a lot of misunderstandings and bad takes around the whole Saylor and Odell thing. Dropping my insight on this here to try to give some clarity. First, both Saylor and Odell net positives for Bitcoin in different ways. Second, we won't always see eye to eye on everything or have the same approaches, and that is okay. From my understanding, Saylor expressed his opinion on funding open source dev to ARK Invest in relation to the ETF. I don't believe it was about funding open source work. In general, I wouldn't have used the word crush that Odell picked. What was Saylor's reason to advise against funding devs? I don't know, but I'm sure it wasn't to save Bitcoin from corporate capture, as some are saying, because the funding from Bitwise and VanEck are through various groups that ensure there are no strings attached, and it would likely have been the same for ARK. There is nothing wrong with corporations funding Bitcoin devs as long as there are no strings attached. When I had Matthew Hogan, the chief investment officer from Bitwise, on the show, they're managing billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin I asked him straight up, are there strings attached? The answer was no, very clearly. I was also the first person to push him and get them to publish their Bitcoin cold wallet address, which he did and he gave me credit for. And whether I asked him or someone else did it, when they can provide funds and transparency to the Bitcoin community and their Bitcoiners and they get it, there should be no reason not to fund devs. If there's strings attached, definitely we don't want them. We don't want the possibility of that happening. Maybe that was happening, potentially happening there, maybe not. Maybe there's other reasons. But if ARK decide to fund or not fund dev based on Saylor's opinion, that really has nothing to do with Saylor and everything to do with ARK. Well stated. Saylor can't really stop them from doing anything. Sure, he is very convincing, maybe intimidating to some, but let's be realistic on what he can and cannot do. You reckon Cathie Wood is going to be intimidated by Michael Saylor? Absolutely not. Let's move on to the next drama already. Or let's just have open conversation, discourse. There's no issue with that. That's how we move forward as individuals, as a species, as humanity, by having the tough conversations. It's how you move forward in your relationships. Through my whole life, I've avoided facing emotions, and with my wife, shout out to you, darling, if you're watching, to be able to have those hard conversations and work through. During the time, it's very difficult, but afterwards, everything's like way better, and you learn and you grow and you mature as a person. To have that in the space in a mature way is absolutely fantastic. So I agree with Samson Mouw's take on this, and I think maybe it's a lesson to take away for at least for me. It's up to you what you do. It's your body, it's your life experience. But just to be open to seeing both sides of the situation, trying to find the truth, which is probably somewhere in the middle. Now, rough time to be holding the Pacific pesos. This is the Australian dollar. You can see it is down 93.09% over the last 5 years. So I don't want to trust. I wanted to verify there. And I got onto Google, and the Australian dollar against Bitcoin is down 93.13% over the past 5 years. And the biggest thing with that, it's going to keep happening. Bitcoin's literally the scarcest, hardest asset, the best form of money humanity has ever known. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's true. Everything's going down to zero against Bitcoin. The price of tomorrow, Jeff Booth. Everything will get cheaper on a Bitcoin stand or a hard money stand. Bitcoin is the only hard money. Gold's having a bit of a pump. It's the highest it's ever been today. And Bitcoin's not an all-time highs. Check out those numbers. There's 7 and 11. That was pretty cool. But over a long time, or even days or weeks, Bitcoin absolutely rips. It melts faces. So whenever you buy it, hold on to it as much as possible, get as much as possible. And if you're unsure, you're selling this. You're selling depreciating currency for a hard asset. That's what the rich do. They buy hard assets. Traditionally, it's been fine wine, gold, fine art, real estate, classic cars, precious metals, and precious stones as well. Now we have Bitcoin, which is just numero uno. It's number one. And all those hard money properties, store of value properties, it's just better at it. So I don't know, you do you. I'm pretty convinced on Bitcoin. I'm happy to ride it to zero, but I don't believe it's going to zero. Somebody give me a reason why it is. Over the last 5 years as well, the Australian to the USD has lost 8.86% in 5 years. If we go 2 years and just have a look, what? That is just absolutely crazy. 12.29% USD's lost. Let's go here and go USD BTC. I've got 2 more articles, 2 more tweets to get through, and then we'll jump into a bit of a banter. What's devs? The developers for the Bitcoin core, for the Bitcoin code, that are bringing in or proposing solutions. It's another good reason to be able to have a Bitcoin node and signal if there's any changes and stuff. There's a lot of people still working on Bitcoin. Is it done? or are there still things to implement? Should they be changing the base load, the base code? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know that. But there are people doing it, and I'll get someone on that really knows about it. Maybe Daniel Prince. It would probably be a cool one. Princey, that'd be epic. And we've been having a couple of conversations. Anyway, Bitcoin is down 1.26. The USD is down 1.26% today, 2.5 in the last 5 days. If we go 1 month, hey, US dollar is up. 6 months, wow, ouch, doesn't that hurt? Just only in 6 months, the US dollar has lost 62.28% against Bitcoin. Year to date, 37%. In 4 months, absolutely amazing. 57%, nearly 60% in 12 months. 5 years, 92.5%. Doing a little bit better than Australia, but not by much, by a percent, maybe 0.75 basis points. Crazy, absolutely crazy. If you're not convinced, I don't know, play around with the charts, have a look and go through every currency in the entire world, and the chart is... let's go have a look at the lira over the last 5 years, 98.65% down, where Bitcoin's been at an all-time high the whole time. Absolutely madness. Just buy, stack, and chill. This is switching over to Australia a little bit. This is happening sort of everywhere around the world that has huge immigration as well. For or against immigration, I don't care. I truly don't care. It's a world, everyone's people. We all bleed blood. And this is not the whole story. This is not the macro picture of what's going on. It's just one take that's driving house prices to go up. One take. The biggest take is the money printing that has happened and people using property as a store of value. Not the only thing. Don't want people to jump up in arms either way. It's a story, but it's happening in many places around the world. I know the US has got a big problem with immigration, and I'm not against immigration, but they need to take care of the population, the citizens first, before they bring in more people. Otherwise, it's just going to crush and make the lower class turn into the homeless class. And we are seeing that more and more in many first world countries around the world, and now starting to look third world. Bitcoin does fix this to an extent, maybe not straight away, but a Bitcoin standard certainly would. So make the universities house international students. Totally agree with that. International students have been the driving force behind Australia's record net overseas migration boom. The latest temporary visa data from the Department of Home Affairs shows there was a record 713,000 international students in Australia at the end of Feb 2024. This record surge in net overseas migration has more than halved Australia's rental vacancy rate, according to PropTrack. It's also driven medium advertised rents up by 38% since the beginning of the pandemic. In saying that, I don't believe that number's quite true, because that lines up with pretty much exactly how much money they put into circulation. Was it like 40, 42%? Thereabouts, but pretty spot on that 40% level. Of course, rents are going to go up. We've seen them in Sydney, is one of the highest rent paying places in the world. So I don't totally agree with that. Yes, medium has gone up by 38%, but I don't believe it's all to do with immigration. They're trying to psyop people. The government here, they've done no wrong. The wrongness is from the people coming overseas. No. Sort out the money supply. The universities, they probably should be paying for the accommodation. They're making all the profit from it. It'd be better for everyone, but don't just blame it on people coming over to get a better education, hope for a better life. As a result, many Australian tenants have been driven into financial stress, forced to live in shared housing, or pushed into homelessness. I think we can blame all of that on the government. In contrast, Australian universities are profiting handsomely from record international student fees. Report published Monday in the Australian. Australia's biggest universities are failing to provide 80% of their foreign students with guaranteed housing despite taking a $9 billion a year in tuition fees. Universities that build enough dorm rooms to accommodate about 40,000 students, fraction of the 205 international students they have enrolled to study in Australia this year. Private training colleagues have failed to provide any accommodation, even though they've accepted 149,000 foreign students this year. The failure of the $26 billion international education industry to provide accommodation has meant at least 400,000 international students have been forced into a private rental market with the tightest vacancy rates on record. It's taken a really, really long time to be able to build apartments, multi-family living arrangements as well, just even family homes. We can't blame everything on immigration. We can't blame everything on the universities. There's a lot to play on there. I think we can throw 99% of the blame at the Australian government, the Reserve Bank of Australia, and just the nonsense that went on during the pandemic, the scandemic. And a little bit of a warning, we could be seeing another one. Not fear-mongering, just get ready, buy, stack and chill. Anyway, universities benefit significantly from international students and they have a responsibility to help house them. I absolutely agree with that statement, but we don't need to be, he did this, they did that. There's a problem. Maybe it should slow down until housing can catch up. Australia's a nice place. The government, what's going on, bloody annoying, but you can opt out and you just remove yourself from the noise. Bigger cities maybe a little bit harder. This is definitely the government's fault. And I actually think Bitcoin would fix this. A couple of memes, but they're only memes because they're true and they're absolutely hilarious, at least from my point of view. NDIS is the National Disability Insurance Scheme. I'm all for helping people with disabilities that need help. Truly, very blessed, very grateful to be able to have the opportunities that I do in life. My taxes are going to help someone that has been born with disabilities or something has happened and it's hurting them in some way or they can't function in the society that we've built that is not built for people with disabilities, whether that's hearing impairment, they're blind, they go on, they've got back injuries, leg injuries, amputees, whatever it is, mentally, psychologically. No problem helping out my fellow Australians, not in the slightest. What I have a problem with, though, is paying taxes where people on the NDIS can use the NDIS to fund sex workers. Yes, the NDIS can fund a sex worker provided you have a letter of approval directly from the NDIA or your LAC. Other eligibility requirements may also apply. You can read more about this below. Can I fund a sex therapist under the NDIS? Yes, but as with all NDIS supports, you must be able to make a case that your need for the support is directly related to your disability and it is reasonable and necessary for you to use your funds to receive either sex therapy or family planning. That top one, can I fund a sex worker? That's peak clown world. That, I don't know. My taxes to go with that, I wouldn't pay for those services myself for me. I don't want to pay for it for somebody else. That's my opinion. Absolute madness. And so I definitely have a problem with what's going on there with the governments. Maybe they do some good. I don't know. That's about all I know. I'm so ignorant to the fact, not talking about anything else they do. But it's clown world, and we're being warned, basically, the West Australian, this is crazy. The police want a civilian army to enforce rules during the next pandemic. Which next pandemic? What are they talking about? Like, we're already being prepared. Are they going to stop us eating meat and eggs because a bird's got a cold? Maybe. It seems like that's happening in some places in the world. Is it going to happen here? Are they going to want you to take 9 shots that you're going to find out are no longer good for you? Maybe just wait this time a little bit longer before you rush in, because the world was hoodwinked completely. And the police are asking for a national COVID guard. A national guard made up of civilians, but with powers to enforce health rules, should be considered to ease the workload on cops during the next pandemic. The cops should totally stay out of it. They're so brutal in 2020 with what they've done for the flu. It's absolutely insanity. Not where I live. We got away scot-free. It did not affect me in the slightest. So I'm not trying to fearmonger. The videos that we saw down south, everything that has been posted, all the research that's come out now, all of it was done 100% wrong. None of it, nothing they did was good. Nothing they did was good. For the economy, for individuals, we're having a mental health crisis now due to locking everyone up, pulling them away from their friends and their family because of the flu. That's my opinion and my opinion alone. Should be considered to ease the workload on cops during the next pandemic, according to the Australian Federal Police Association. Crazy, absolute madness. So, anyway, there's hope, there's joy. It's all good. You can buy, stack, and chill. Holding your Bitcoin in self-custody gives you a level of freedom and an insane amount of hope that the world is a great place. It's a bright orange future today. It's a green orange future, but it's all good. But the reason why you're so early, even though Bitcoin here is at $71,062, is we're only at a $1.39 trillion market cap. Gold, it's at about $13 trillion. Bitcoin's coming for gold. In my opinion alone, again, it's just a matter of time. TikTok, next block. Maybe it happens in the next 5-10 years. Maybe it takes 20-30 years. For me, it's a certainty. Nobody knows how much gold is out there. Nations are still buying it. Central banks are still buying it. Old people are still, nothing against old people, are still buying Bitcoin. But the people that are retiring or that are retired, as they pass on, they're going to hand over their wealth, and people are intrinsically, like, it's easier for a 15-year-old to understand Bitcoin than it is someone in their 70s. And somebody in their 70s, there are a lot of people that are understanding it. But just the adoption rate is going to be so much faster. They're going to find all this new wealth. Hey, what do I do? Let's put in the world's hardest money. What is the world's hardest money? The best investment, the best store of value that's ever existed. Oh, that's Bitcoin. What? It's only at a $1.39 trillion market cap. Let's go. Let's get that bag. And we just go up into the right forever. So getting it now, 70,000, it's still cheap. Forget the 70,000 number. There's so many people coming into the space. If you can buy a whole Bitcoin, buy a whole Bitcoin. Make the most of that opportunity. If you can't buy a whole Bitcoin, the number is irrelevant. It's just a number. What's actually relevant here is the $1.39 trillion market cap. It's the whole world really could taken that, what, $900 trillion, we may end up with, it depends. We won't go out there. That's maybe a conversation for another day, but it's pretty bullish anyway, long term. The all-time high price, like we're at 70,000, say 71,000 was 73,790, less than 4% of the way there. March 14 is about a month ago. Bitcoin feels boring. Let it feel boring. Just buy, stack, and chill, enjoy it. We're over 10% of the market cap of gold. So we've still got a 10x to go from here. Where's that put Bitcoin? At $700,000 US. That's over $1 million per Bitcoin for anyone here in Australia. Be way more by then. Anyway, if they stop debasing the currency and just held it where it is, it's still going to be a lot higher, but they're going to continue to debase the currency. Couple of things here. Corporate treasuries, the amount of Bitcoin held, over 2.28 million of Bitcoin, which is about $162 billion. Supply percentage in corporate treasuries, 11.61%. If you're not buying it, corporations are buying it. Nation states are buying it. Wall Street's buying it. I'm buying it. So it's up to you what you do. I'd suggest buying it. And then buying it, stacking it, chilling with it, enjoying life. Couple more things I want to show you real quick, and we'll get into a bit of a banter. It is here, 71,220 was the high in the last 24 hours, 69,580. if you keep that in mind, it's pretty much sideways action. Yeah, like there's a $2,000 discrepancy. Don't try trade it. You know, if you're a trader, you know what you're doing. You do you. But for the most people, just buy, accumulate, and trade everything else for Bitcoin is probably a better option. It looks like the camera died, which is all good. These things happen when you're live. But if we zoom out, I thought it was pretty interesting. So over a week, that's what it looks like. Over a month, pretty much sideways. We're where we started, maybe a tiny bit lower, like just with 3.9% down, maybe 4.2% down. But okay, it's boring. We all get bored of it. Look at the last 3 months. Sometimes there's years when nothing happens, and then sometimes there's days when years happen. Going into the halving now, nation states waking up. The game theory is really heating up. It's been going on for a while. Like, who's Mr. 100? Who's buying 100 Bitcoin a day? Is it Qatar? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe we'll never know. Looks like they're going to continue to keep buying anyway. So buy, stack, chill. Jumping into the comments. That's the news with the fast facts. Hang around for a banter. Leave a comment if you are leaving, and smash the like button on your way out. But for the legends, 169, the numbers of the universe. G'day, Tam BTC. Can't find the like button. I don't know, live. I don't know what you're watching on YouTube X. It'll be around there somewhere. It's the thumbs up. I'm sure you've worked it out by now, Ant BTC. Joey H, g'day from Vancouver. How is the creatine, bud? Sun's out, guns out. Yeah, so the creatine, I don't want it to put on muscle mass. If that happens, great, whatever, I don't care for that. But for the effects that creatine has on the brain, I just sticking with the 5 grams a day, 5 teaspoons a day at the moment, and just see how I go. Maybe I'll up it a little bit. But the focus, the clarity, absolutely incredible. I'm not suggesting anyone does it. You do your own research. But day 2, it's been pretty good. And I definitely feel I've always got a lot of energy, like a crazy amount of energy. But I feel like the energy is more balanced and is slower released and more sustainable as well. I don't know if they're meant to be the effects of it or not. It's just what I've experienced over the last 2 days. Yeah, a whole lot of scientific research, data points there. Anyway, that's my thoughts there. Gaz, hello from Thailand, matey. G'day, mate. What a cool place. Jeff, g'day, everyone. G'day, Jeff. Jom Team Thailand in the house. Good morning, good afternoon, Brooke. Lurker Strats, what's going down, mates? Well, Bitcoin price is going up. The Satoshis are going down. Maybe get some just in case it continues to catch on forever. They serve Aussies. I'm not sure what your Lurk Strats you're referring to. Scott, love your optimism. Great job. Keep it up. I appreciate it. It's hard not to feel joy and hope in Bitcoin. It's still cheap. You know, some people say you gone so early. We bought a lot last week at like near about all-time highs, over $100,000 per Bitcoin here in Australia, and we're still buying. I was buying been buying all the way from 20,000 down to 3,300 and all the way up here now. So it's not trying to time the market. It's just get as much as you possibly can, and it gives you that hope. Anyway, when I go to the site, I asked if I'm US or Canada. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Maybe something's come up with that. Okay, good. Maybe you're talking about an exchange. I don't know which exchange. That comment is not showing up today. Serge has bought half Bitcoin today, 15 total. Well done. Good job. You've just doxed yourself. Probably would advise against letting people know exactly how much Bitcoin you have, or have bloody terrific security. And if you don't reach out to the Bitcoin Way today, there's a plug. But the team there are absolutely incredible. Now, okay, good. Hello from Connecticut. Absolutely love Connecticut. And I just love the States. Like the country, it's just so beautiful. It's so much variation, and it's so easy to get everywhere. And your highways are so fun to drive on. Truly, like your roads there, especially your highways, at least the ones we travelled on, were so good and a lot of fun. Really putting the pedal to the metal. But just the country, I'm blown away. I can't wait to go back. Robert Kiyosaki would know about mistakes. He keeps mistakenly predicting a stock market crash, but sure, I agree with the general premise of his Bitcoin comment. Enjoy your vid, Sean. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Croc and the house. Hope all is well. Hope you're well too, bro. Croc, brother man. Double dose of orange pills. I like it. Double dose. The Bitcoin price doesn't worry me. However, to be honest, unlike many Bitcoiners admit publicly, I look at the Bitcoin price on CoinMarketCap all the time, even at 3 a.m. GMT, Aussie West Coast time. Yeah, crazy. Trying to get to not even trying. I think I look at it when I'm live. Obviously, I bring it up maybe once in the evening. I look at it. Somebody asked me earlier today, what's the Bitcoin price? I don't know. Like, it's doesn't really mean anything. What means something to me is having more Satoshis today than I did yesterday or that I had last week. Like, that's my mission. But the price, like when it's really pumping or really dumping, I get excited. When it's like this, 0.2% daily, cool. Like, I knew what the price was yesterday. Do I need to know today? Not really. What do I need to do? I need to get busy and I need to get more Satoshis. But yeah, I definitely still look at, and I think most people do. Apart from Chris from Bitcoin Alive, he doesn't look at the price. He won't let people tell him the price. It's incredible. He's been doing it for years. I think you can tell on Twitter, but he just scrolls past everything. So at least I know one Bitcoiner that's truly not looking at the price unless it's forced or shoved in his face. Skylark, good to see you. And it's been good having a back and forth on X, really engaging. We have reduced inflation from a number we made up to a lower number we made up. Isn't it fantastic? Like the psyop of the monetary system here in Australia, worldwide, it's phenomenal. And I totally agree. I feel like I said something similar yesterday. God, Biden is such a bumbling fool who doesn't make any coherent sense whatsoever or form an understandable sentence. It is odd. It is weird. And like watching videos of Biden from like a long time ago, he is incredibly sharp in his thinking. I don't know anything about his policies. I'm here in Australia. Does not worry me in the slightest. But to have someone that's cannot deliver a clear message and you're the representative of that country. Maybe it didn't start out like that when he was elected, but he's definitely there now. The question that I have out of my own curiosity, is there actually really any chance of him being re-elected and doing another 4 years? I don't understand how the population would want to have the spokesperson unable to be able to articulate clearly to their population, negotiate with other nation states. I don't see why people would, but I don't know. Maybe you see it different. Maybe he's done some really amazing things. I don't know. I'd like to hear it. But I think there's no good options, actually, to be honest, but there's probably a better option. Real inflation rate, 20% plus. Yeah, it's definitely double digits. Definitely double digits. Free Assange, 100%. Heavy into Bitcoin miners should do a 2x to Bitcoin going forward. Meantime, collecting call premiums. Brooke, was it the conversation that I had with CJ? If you pick the right miner, they're a leverage play on it. It'll be interesting to see. Actually, I talked to Michael Dunworth as well about Bitcoin mining. He created is it Wide? The exchange sold it for like $500 million or something. Super cool dude, brother of Peter Dunworth. That story, if you haven't seen the original podcast we did, crazy. The guy's absolutely mad in the most amazing ways possible. So one of my favorite people to talk to about the esoteric side of Bitcoin. But he knows his stuff, he's running like a multi-billion-dollar exchange there. And coming up to the halving, we may see a lot of Bitcoin miners fold. So just keep that in mind. You do you. But don't try leverage on Bitcoin without actually owning Bitcoin. Like, Bitcoin's the revolution. The miners secure it, yes. Some companies will be better than others. Some give more of their numbers than others. So it's have fun. It's a trade. It's more investment, where Bitcoin, I guess, is the opt-out, and it's the money of the world. Careful, Brooke. After the halving, there's only going to be 3 Bitcoin miners that are going to be profitable. Well, there you go. And Croc's a very, very smart, intelligent investor. 4, correcting himself as well. What's devs? The developers. Little bit of FOMO hit me today, mate. When the price is sideways for this long, I buy more. Aussie hodl. Aussie hodl in the house is just hold up, Aussie. Oh, Queensland hodl. I was like, is it? Like, I just brought it up, but as Queensland hodl that I brought up. Aussie hodl. Good to see you. Feel you as well. Like, I don't know. I get bored, number going sideways. Good reason to be able to buy more, accumulate more. How long can we stay range bound? Like, really, we need to go. We need to do something sooner rather than later. The halving, what, 8 days away from us? Just over a week. Let's go. Let's absolutely go. Let's get it. It's going to do something. Up, down, sideways. Either way, it's well, sideways is boring. Down is an amazing opportunity to buy more. When it goes up, it's a great opportunity to buy more as well, but it has to do something. It can't continue to consolidate forever. Sooner rather than later, it's going to do something. We'll see. It's just a lot of sideways action, really. So I expect it to do something as well. $71,071.72 now. You can't stop. The developers there. Knox Bill in the house. Not a fan of ordinals because they enable miners to slip and blocks that don't adhere to the Bitcoin core block rules on our Bitcoin nodes. I don't think we need monkey picks if you want to be a degen. Like, Bitcoin's the money of the world. Go be a degen somewhere else. There's fucking 20,000 coins out there. There's endless blockchains that are all essentially controlled. 1% of the holders hold 30% of the supply. A lot of them are, all of it's a mine virus. Have your monkey picks there. Like, the only thing I like about it is they give fees to the miners, but that's about it. I'd rather we just use Bitcoin as the world reserve asset, global money, the best commodity that's ever existed. I don't think we need these monkey picks on there, this arbitrary data. We're going to get a big pullback here in a day or two if my prediction is correct. We're going back down to the 58K, the 58K gang, maybe not, for a day or two before the halving. Then it'll moon. Last halving was a black swan. One thing, Croc, that I'd like to caveat that with is, yes, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Croc's a trader, and traders in general, you only need to be right 51% of the time. For everyone else watching who's not a trader, don't try time the market. It's just better to spend time in the market, just buying, accumulating, like push the green button today. If it's red tomorrow, push it again. Whatever. Keep a little bit of gunpowder on the side, but don't count it. So many people are still waiting for 12K, 20K. Like, what country was it? And they're still talking. So many people, Netherlands, was it? I don't know, somewhere in Europe. And they think Bitcoin's going to 20K. Like, they're going to have to buy it at 200K. So whether you're buying it at 70,000, 58,000, so it's like 60,000 or 70,000, it's going to 1 million, 10 million. I don't know. Or imagine selling it and it pumps and then you get even less Bitcoin than what you'd work so hard for. But Croc, if that happens, awesome. I look forward to it. I'll make the most. SF HODL. I only own 3. Clean Spark is that, I'm pretty sure. Mara and Riot. CLSK. Pretty sure that's Clean Spark. SF HODL. Actually, really interesting conversation with Clean Spark and CJ, Constantino, actually on CJ's channel. Yes, I was listening to that. That's well worth listening to. SF Hoddle, good to see you. Oh, you hold the stocks of companies that mine Bitcoin. I thought you were mining at home. I sold all my Bitcoin miners 2 years ago since they're going to be operating at a loss. All by design. Habib, good to see you. Bitcoin Alive 2025 tickets are on sale from today. See you again there. Anyone in Australia, Bitcoin Alive was one of the best weekends of my life. Understand not buying a ticket to be able to buy more Satoshis. However, being around like-minded people and the conversations are incredible. Absolutely freaking amazing. So I'll be going short Bitcoin for that. And I went short Bitcoin last weekend and bought a chair and punished myself and put about 100x of the chair's cost into Bitcoin. So I did my best, but I was still short Bitcoin. But get the bag, hold the bag, whatever it is, and then enjoy life. Like actually chill, whatever it is. The chair makes me happy. And I'm all in on that chair and the sofa. And we've got a lot of chairs here. I don't care. It's so funny, some of the comments I got about the chair. And Spectre Abe, at this point, I don't worry who's re-elected because Bitcoin will go up forever. The longer Joe Biden is in office, the more the dollar will ruin, the more Bitcoin will go up. I don't think we'll ever dip below 55K again. Got a long set at 60K, ready for it. Absolutely awesome. And see, 4 people, Croc's been around for a very, very long time, trading in the markets every single day. Just don't try sell your Bitcoin and buy lower. If you've got dry powder on the side, absolutely great. Inspector 8, it's taking 20,000 Bitcoin per day to mine. We are sitting at 70K. There won't be a sell-off because they're still in profit and they know they're getting cut in half. Absolutely love it. 190 people watching live. If you haven't already and you're just coming across this channel, I want to ask you a question. Have you seen? Obviously you haven't if you're just watching the channel. Maybe it's not a question. Maybe I'd urge you, if you're looking for something to do, some of the podcasts that I've done, Michael Dunworth, Peter Dunworth, had Mark Yusko, and I understand he's into shitcoins. Like, he truly is. He calls himself a technology maxi. I'm a hard money maxi, but we went straight into Bitcoin. And it's nice talking to institutional investors, the people that are playing at Wall Street. We had Matt Hogan on there, Natalie Brunel. That's a great video. That's a great one for the women out here in Bitcoin. For you gentlemen, listening to Natalie, she's so level-headed, so grounded. It's nice to have that in the space. But it's a good video to pass on to your wife, to your girlfriend, to your mistress, whoever, just a colleague at work, the lady next door, whoever it is. It's a really good video. But I'd urge you to sit down and watch one of those videos or listen while you're driving. We've got some really incredible ones coming out. Another one, Peter Dunworth, Michael Dunworth, the Eric Kaysen one. Absolutely great. But actually the question that I'd like to ask you is, why haven't you subscribed? It helps get the Bitcoin signal out there. We go live with the news Monday to Friday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 5:35 a.m. And also, if you haven't hit the like button, why not? Like, it's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it pushes the Bitcoin signal, the message out there. And it's truly important. I don't think there's anything more important right now than at least understanding Bitcoin. Not necessarily buying it, like, that's up to each individual, but getting them to read the books, whatever. Don't give a first person reader this book, but if you've read 4 other books, 5 other books, you're ready for this book. We need to get the message out there. Digital IDs, CBDCs, inflation. The Australian dollar's lost 93% in the last 5 years against Bitcoin. It's been debased 12.5% in the last 3 years against the USD. The USD's lost 92.5% over the last 5 years as well against Bitcoin. The money system's not getting any better, ever. Like, inflation may come down, doesn't mean prices will come down. the pressure, the cost of living is not coming down. Hard assets, like even including real estate, are going to continue to go up because they're printing so much money. This debt spiral, it is real. It is urgent that people understand that there is hope. You can have freedom. You can be a sovereign individual. The way that we were born, we are meant to be free, not controlled, not slave, not with a collar around our neck. I don't know any other way that we can fix. I don't know if we can fix the system. I don't think we can fix the system at all, but we can opt out of the system. We can jump in the parallel economies. So why won't you smash the like button? It's free. It's easy. It helps me get the message out there. I believe it's the most important thing that I could do with my life, to be able to just let people know, buy, stack, and chill. Bitcoin, it's not complicated. It's absolutely fascinating. We can go down a million rabbit holes because it's genius, absolutely genius. But at the end of the day, so many people work their whole lives for currency, which they think is money. It's being debased. So their life force energy is being sucked away, taken away from them. And that's why the homelessness is rising. Their housing crisis is just going through the roof, and it's going to continue to. If we can get people to understand they just need to buy, they need to stack, they just need to chill, whatever it is, $2 a day, $5 a day, $1 a day, 50 cents, whatever it is, if they can save a little bit, their lives will continue to get a little bit better. If you can save a lot, your lives going to continue to get a lot better very quickly. But Bitcoin's fair. It's just math. It's just rules, and there's no rulers. It breaks my heart when I talk to people and they won't buy Bitcoin, or I didn't get them to understand how potentially dire the world is. Maybe with the digital IDs that come out here in Australia and around the rest of the world, and then the CBDCs that are inevitably going to follow, maybe they're not as dystopian as they potentially could be. But what if they are? And what if you're locked in that system? What if the banks keep closing the exit ramps, which they're doing here in Australia and many places around the world? This is a global operation that's going on to keep you locked in. We've got a period now, and maybe the door stays open forever. But what if it doesn't? What if the time is really TikTok next block and it's running out? Or just for the fact that Bitcoin's only at $71,177 instead of at 700,000. And what if people, like, better to buy Bitcoin when you don't need it than when you need and you can't buy Bitcoin? And even if none of the bad things play out, Bitcoin's still going up and to the right forever. So if you've got any feedback, maybe not so much in the live chat, but on X at Sean Clark 911, let me know how I can get this message out so much. The world, the people here, it's a beautiful place. We have one life, and I want people to enjoy it because life is glorious. It's grand. It's, I'm very blessed here in Australia. We look at the Great Barrier Reef. I took the jet ski out on Tuesday, straight over. It was rough as guts on the way back in the water. Was pretty stirred up. So I didn't get to go for a snorkel, but just to be able to go out there, and we go for a walk every day on the beach, at least once, usually more. But, okay, blessed. Maybe not everyone has the reef or the beach, but everyone's got the sun. And the joy that I get from looking at the sun first thing in the morning as it rises up, to be able to have a conversation with my wife, to be able to go out and have a coffee or whatever and not worry. I think that's pretty important, and that's reality, or at least that's my reality, and I believe everyone can achieve some form of a better reality for themselves in whatever way if they adopt Bitcoin. So if you've got any feedback on how I can spread the message, send it my way, either in the comments under this video or at Sean Clark 911. Smash the like button while you're there. Hit subscribe. It truly helps. And obviously the news with the fast facts, but then we've got the podcast as well, really diving deep. Like I got Bram coming on. It's not going to be for a month, but we're going to film a podcast. What an interesting mind to be able to share these conversations and just dive down into these things. That'd mean a lot, but truly give me feedback, and a nice, like, constructive feedback. Don't just be a troll. Like, I've no time or patience for trolls. Like this, I think this is like mission number one, the most important thing that we can do. So please don't waste my time, but with respect, tell me how I can do this better to continuously improve. I'd truly appreciate that. No, it's a little bit heartfelt, whatever. The most important thing is people buy, stack, and chill. Whatever way we can get that message out, I think it's absolutely critical. And I want to jump back in quickly to the comments, then we'll get out of here. I never account for sells off from miners. I only look at institutional money in the top 50 wallet, 500 wallets. Coin market cap update, Bitcoin up $109,000. And where's, if I can bring it up, let me just bring up Bitcoin AUD on the chart here. BTC AUD. If I sound emotional, ladies and gentlemen, I am. Actually, I really feel like this is freaking urgent for the whole population, for people to be able to wake up. Like somebody came to me today and said, Bitcoin's at $100,000. I said, no, it's not. It's over $100,000. It's been there for weeks. And he's like, what? I said, man, I've been telling you to buy it since it's like $20,000, or maybe even might have been around the lows of FTX. So like under 20K US, and then I'm converting, so what was that, like 35,000? I think that's what he said, about 30,000 you've been telling me to buy it. I said, man, I've been telling you to research it. Now I'm telling you to buy it. And he's like, I've got 10K there. I said, just buy it. Just buy it and forget about it. And I've got a good relationship. So, we've been talking about it for a while, but I just said, like, just do it, man. And he's going to today, this afternoon. Hopefully by now he's bought it, but $109,000, and it's nothing. One Bitcoin's one Bitcoin. Just own as much of the 21 million Bitcoin as you possibly can. Forget about the Pacific pesos, the AUD, or whatever. You're just selling out. Maybe we need to start looking at Satoshis a little bit more, but double dose. Couldn't get them to take the orange pill at 24K AUD. I have that same pain and it freaking hurts. But still now, like, it's remarkably cheap. It's only 15 years old. Best form of money, the best asset in human history, the best performing ETF in human history. Like, all the metrics are the best because Bitcoin is the best. It's truth. It's in line with light. And leads to enlightenment, in my opinion. But even if that's a bit esoteric, it's going up and to the right forever when you zoom out, and just forget about it. Fed is checkmate. Banks are buying behind closed doors. Gunderson Capital Management, Wedmont, these are the banks, that are buying behind closed doors. And the list goes on. And now on LLC, these are the banks buying Bitcoin today. Absolutely incredible. For the people that have just jumped into the stream, because I've seen a few, you missed the heartfelt message. Go back and watch the full video. I ask of you kindly and dearly. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe if we vibe. Yous are all rock stars. Whether you're stacking for yourself or for your friends or your family, just buying Bitcoin, you're doing the right thing, and you're the people that are going to make the world a better place. So I thank each and every one of you for being here, for reading the books, not eating the bugs, spreading the message in whatever way you can. And even if people don't take you up, buying Bitcoin at $23,000, when they see it at $230,000, maybe that might get them to ask questions again. I first heard about Bitcoin when it was $94. I bought it when it was 200x more expensive. Looking back, that was still very cheap, felt expensive at the time. So some people need to be exposed multiple times. but everyone needs, in my opinion, to buy Bitcoin, but at least study it. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Have a beautiful afternoon. We'll see you Monday morning, 5:35 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Peace. And do something nice for yourself, for somebody else.